What is facial profiling or facial balancing? Well, in my opinion, the term is used to assess the whole face when doing any kind of treatment and make sure there's balance and symmetry that makes you look natural yet beautiful. So when you come in with a problem, we develop a solution for that problem. I want to look more youthful, I want to look more beautiful, and then we come up with a game plan to achieve your goals. And that's why I like the term aesthetic provider and not aesthetic injector. A client comes in for lip filler and walks out like this. Goal achieved? Not in my opinion. Why? Well, the lips, you can see her look too large for her face. Why? Because they look at the size of her eyes and the size of her chin. When your lips get bigger, your chin looks smaller. But the size and shape of the lips are too big. You can see they filled out wider, which makes her mouth look bigger. So it looks disproportional to her natural beauty. To me, this is a poor example of lip filler and facial profiling. Now let's look at a cheek filler. She comes in for cheek enhancement. She's got large, beautiful cheeks with a nice taper, making a nice contour on the side. But was the goal achieved? No, it doesn't look natural for her. Why? Because the cheek is relatively too large for her eyes. Also, compared to her jawline and chin, it's just unbalanced. And to the naked eye, you can say that doesn't look natural. Why? Because there's some ratios we know in our mind that just doesn't look natural. So it would have to be balanced appropriately to get a more natural appearance. Using the same image again, but now we have the chin is enhanced. Does it look natural? No, it's too large in proportion to her face. There are a lot of ratios we use, like the distance from your nose to your lip is 1/3, from your bottom lip to your chin is 2/3, and this ratio on the lower half is way too big because of the size of her chin, which throws the rest of her face out of proportion and makes her face look longer and not more well balanced. All the proportions were changed because they only added chin filler, but did she really need it? No. So when someone comes in for a specific treatment, cheek filler, lip filler, chin filler, jawline filler, we got to look at the whole facial proportions to see if this is a good candidate for that procedure, or do we need to balance it with other areas? Otherwise, we can shape their natural contour and also what would standardized beauty would be. Someone has a real deficit, a lack of lip volume, chin volume, cheek volume, obviously volume restoration and changing some deficits can certainly be beneficial. Then you're going to ask, why do most places offer things as jawline filler, lip filler, cheek filler? That's for marketing and sales purposes, not necessarily for medical aesthetic purposes. So essentially, I think that every time you go in for a filler or a biostimulant, the provider should be looking at facial profiling. How will that area look if it's larger and contoured compared to the rest of the face? So quite often, you can't just treat one area in isolation unless it's a pure deficit restoration.